せーのでもそんなんじゃダメもうそんなんじゃほら心は進化するよもっともっと
Welcome to the Netflix Superhero Rundown. This episode is going to be the review of Iron Fist. I just want to go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. We are simply reviewing this because it is a part of the Defenders, and
we have to.
Yeah, so here we go. Iron Fist. Your thoughts?
It starts off with Danny Rand coming back from being quotes away. He walks into a building pretty much, and they're not having it. They're trying to kick him out. Apparently,
He has no shoes on.
Yeah, he has no shoes on at all. So they pretty much like, what is this homeless man doing in this building? And
because he has like messed up
his hair, he's looking all
clothes.
scruffy. He's just looking
Completely
unkept. Just unkept. So basically, you find out that he has been missing since he was 9 or 12 or something, and he's coming back a full-grown man, maybe mid-20s, like 25-ish. Okay, he's about 10. So 12 to 15 years or so, he's been missing. So he tells them who he is. This is my father's building, and they're not believing him. So it goes through his whole story of where he's been and everything, and him basically probably half the series, well, half of the first season is him trying to prove who he is. Then you get introduced to the main villains and people who, spoiler alert, may be dead, but not really. And honestly, for someone, if you're not familiar with the Defenders in Iron Fist, you might be like, oh, okay, this is great. How I was when I initially saw it, because I was not familiar with Iron Fist like the rest of the Defenders. However, after I realized and watched more about Iron Fist before what the portrayal should have been, I was not too much of a fan. I feel his character should have been a lot stronger with all of his training that he supposedly had while he was away for 10 plus years.
I'll agree with that. My main problem with Iron Fist is from the beginning to the very end, you never really knew what they were trying to make this series. Is this about somebody that's coming into his powers and going to be a superhero? Is this the story of Colleen Wing, who ends up being his love interest for season 1, and what she's going through? Is this a Billions type show where we just want to look at corporate America? We had about...
Billions is excellent. Look out for that review, by the way.
Shameless plug. We had about 3 or 4 different storylines that were there that, I mean, everything about this show was lackluster to me. The martial art side of it was lackluster. We never really saw him being Iron Fist, but like maybe 2 or 3 times. To me, Colleen Wing stands out because the portrayal of a lot of the other characters were lackluster. Now, old boy that plays Ward, that I forgot who he was. I think what was the series that I used to watch on Cinemax? I can't think of the name now. It was about some Amish. I can't think of the name of the show. But anyway, that guy was in that show, and he was really good in that show. He played a white supremacist, I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, or like a KKK member. In this show, he was also very good as well. Ward Meacham's character, Joy, I had, which was Ward Meacham's sister, Joy.
The dad was
the 3 of them actually grew up together. Danny, Joy Meacham, and Ward Meacham. The dad was on point. In my opinion, he should have just been the villain.
Yes.
I don't think they should have brought the Hand in, which is the main villain for Iron Fist in the comic books. I think that should have been next season. And the reason why that also ended up being a problem is because based on how the Hand is, the way they did Danny's portrayal, he did not have enough power to deal with them. Now, in the comic book, Danny Rand, Iron Fist, he does. But the way they set up his character, he did not. So we're saying all of that to say, if you want to skip this series and go directly into the Defenders, you can, because they're going to surmise everything that's happened with this series in the Defenders anyway. He's still going to tell you every 5 minutes that he's the immortal Iron Fist. You're never going to see it. They're going to talk about Kunlun, which is the city where he was for all those years.
But didn't do anything.
You're never going to see that either. And so ultimately, this to me is lackluster if you are a true comic book fan. So I will say this in addition. If you're watching this new to superheroes, somebody told you about the superheroes and you just want to get in and watch it, you may enjoy it because you won't have all that backstory that you can actually be like, really, this is what they did. So it really depends on what aspects you're coming
fresh
from
eyes,
or
you
whatever.
won't know
The
any
fresh,
difference.
exactly, fresh eyes. You will like it for what it is. You may still have some problems with it, but you won't have the problems that a lot of comic book fans will have.
Yeah.
And I think that's where all the hate came from when you look at the reviews and stuff like that for this series. But I'm not going to continue going on. Like this episode, share with your friends, subscribe if you're new. Make sure to come back for the rest of the series. And as always, stay geeky.